For anybody out there who might believe that left-wing populist policies are not the way to win elections, just pay a little bit of attention to how defensive Republicans have been since Donald Trump glazed Mamdani in the Oval Office.
Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and, you know, you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of
She's a very capable person,
Isn't
but
that a kind of
you really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again, and I can say again, because New York was great.
Well, look, I think today's meeting between the president and the mayor-elect was a good first step to introduce themselves to one another and to hopefully have a good working relationship moving forward. But again, it doesn't mean, Sean, that President Trump is ever going to change his values. And we know, and the president knows, and the American people know, that ultimately President Trump's policies work and capitalism works.
One word, wow. Kami Mamdani, as the president has quoted, referring to his guest in the Oval Office there for the past several months, looked like best friends with President Trump now. I mean, it was an extraordinary meeting. We missed, of course, the conversation they were having before they met with the press that went on for about a half hour. The meeting, according to both men, was very cordial. The president saying he wants Mamdani to succeed as best as he can to make New York what it can and should be.
Well, those who have read history, Kaylee, understand that socialism is for morons. I love Seattle. They just elected a new mayor. I don't know her, but I've read a lot about her. She's a typical moonbat. You know, she's a community organizer, probably eats tofu and organic broccoli. She's a self-avowed socialist. She's proud of things that she should be ashamed of. She's entitled to her opinion, and I guess what I just said is kind of mean. I'll stop being mean if she'll stop being foolish. The loon wing, the Bolshevik wing, the socialist wing of the Democratic Party is obviously in control. That's what drove the shutdown. That's what made Senator Schumer do what he did. He knew better. Remember the old Jack Nicholson movie line, go sell crazy somewhere else, we're all stocked up here? I don't think Chuck saw the movie. Chuck kept saying, we got this. But none of them had it, and they all needed therapy. And they hurt the American people badly, but we all stuck together, with the exception of Senator Paul. I want to thank President Trump for sticking with us.
Many of whom represent districts with much less blue than New York City have embraced him with open arms. And because his brand of Marxism is truly a bellwether for the Democrats nationwide, we pointed out that other major metropolitan areas in the country are facing the same threat with candidates similar to Mamdani. And we're going to continue to call out their effort to mainstream and normalize socialism and Marxism in America. Working families watching this play out have a right to know that socialism and communism are not just confined in New York City. They are quickly coming to a town near you unless you stand up and let your voice of common sense be heard.
So I think my attitude is let these debates play out, but don't let the debates that we're having internally blind us to the fact that we're up against a radical leftist movement that murdered my friend a couple of months ago and that would throw many people in the Trump administration in prison, not for doing anything illegal, but for not following the far left's agenda. That is the real opponent here, a political movement in this country that has no animating principle, that has no agenda for the American people. Their sole obsession is to take down Donald Trump. and anybody who helped Donald Trump govern. Focus on the enemy, have our debates, but focus on the enemy so that we can win victories that matter for the American people. That's my message.
On the one hand, it's definitely true that one strategy doesn't work in full effect everywhere. You know, the United States is a big place, lots of states, lots of cities, and lots of diversity in thought and ethnicity. But at the end of the day, pretty much everybody's going to be on board with things like getting paid more, you know, higher wages, a higher minimum wage, having better access to education, having more affordable health care, more affordable groceries. A lot of the policies that Mamdani is talking about will help everyday Americans just live better. Better access, easier access to commodities, to the things that we need, not just to climb the social ladder, but just to be comfortable. Because at the end of the day, it's really not most people's aspirations to be, you know, wealthy and powerful and famous with high status. Most people just want to enjoy their lives, you know, maybe give their kids some good opportunities, have a good time with their family once or twice a month, go out to eat, you know, maybe go on a couple of vacations a year. If people can have that, the overwhelming majority of people will be satisfied. So all the Democrats really have to do, honestly, is the bare minimum in order to get their popularity up. Because, you know, telling people that the red coats are coming, that doesn't sell anymore. Because for the most part, a lot of adults now weren't even alive during the Cold War. I was born in 1992. I'm 33 years old. The Cold War was over by the time I came along. So that rhetoric and that propaganda just doesn't work anymore. Mamdani is here. He's very good at politics, and I think that people should be taking notes on his approach.